one first rotation on blue side every single time, right? So I would really hope for a drafting pivot here from T1, because if they give up the same champions again, if they blind Jace again, we might see that streak end. And again, in game number 1, there was some similar moments and they were still able to clutch it out. This might happen in game number 3 as well, but why make it hard for yourself, T1? Don't need to.
Yeah, you know, that's why this is a big sticking point for us, because it just feels like those picks are getting so much value, and that's what the bans are for, just denying that. Of course, you would have to give over something like a Nautilus, like a Zeri. Zeri's not going to be given over, obviously. Hecarim and TF, same bans here so far.
Nautilus, the big question. Do you want to give that to Hoyt? Pick that. I'm 100% certain Kwangdong is going to first pick. If this is not a Rise ban, but it is. He's earned it. And the effort that Fate has put in the first 2 games definitely warrants this ban.
So the question now is, what do you first pick as Kwangdong Freaks? Do you want to first pick a Jace, or a Jinx rather? Do you feel like Zeus is not going to play a Malphite? Would you put that much priority onto a Jace? Keen maybe going to get his turn on this side of the matchup? Or just go for a top-level jungler? Keep your options open.
Element a really big impact in the previous game as well on the Sin.
Yeah.
I do actually quite like the pickup here. No. And yes, you can draft accordingly, right? If you pick yourself up a Tahm Kench, then the impact of a possible Malphite does become less of an issue. So I don't think it's as egregious, provided that Kwangdong Freaks don't pick up the Malphite in this rotation. You get the opportunity to ban it as well.
Yeah.
So this in of itself, I think, is still all right. But for the Kwangdong Freaks, I mean, surely at this point, they're just, also, yeah, they're going to just lock in Aphelios. And
Leona?
I'd say so, yeah. That's my expectation.
Or Aphelios and a mid laner?
Actually, you go Aphelios Nautilus, obviously, because it's finally open for Hoyt.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
and you're a big, I mean, it's been banned the last 2 games. As no!
Yeah, mid laner going to be taken down here. They're going to prioritize the LeBlanc for Fade. They say, who cares about that Nautilus? We certainly don't. They say, sure, play whatever you want, Faker. But we got your LeBlanc.
Kench ban, or Kench pick rather, I would quite like here. Do you think that otherwise, unless you ban some of the possible counter picks, you're going to run into a lot of issues here? Going to be Lee instead. Of course, incredible power pick for Ona, who's had very, very consistent performances on the champion. Had that beautiful kick in game number 1 as well. As there we go. Okay, I can rest. Now ban Wukong as well, and we can rest at ease.
Getting the respect it deserves.
It really does. It really does.
A rock-solid ban there from T1. And the Ahri ban finally will show its face here in game number 3. That's something we were calling for in game number 1. Rakan also taken off the board. Mentioned how Hoyt's Rakan has been extremely strong as of late as well. Not going to show as much respect to the Nautilus, though. So that one is still available. You could also pick it away.
That's my expectation here. The R4 Nautilus into the final counter pick being left to Faker. Him being able to then pivot composition in a direction that you personally prefer. Gonna then probably be the Leona from Kwangdong. That has been the general handshake into the Nautilus. And for topside, Wukong still exists and is also really good. So I honestly wouldn't really mind that, Keen, if you're, if you're shopping for Jace counters, since clearly after that Malphite performance, they're like, give me another one. But might go back to the Gragas. Kwangdong Freaks effectively playing very similar compositions. Mid jungle 2v2, a lot stronger in terms of damage, but the amount of rotational power that is available to them has been lessened here. And without hard engage, I do think you're going to run into issues. And I haven't finished my sentence. I would love this. Okay, Keen. It's not Wukong, but I'll take it, honestly.
I wanted the Wukong. Carrie has been trolling us all night with, oh, it's not a troll! We're getting Kaisa in the mid lane for Faker. It's actually happening here in game number 3. With everything on the line, with the streak of T1, they say, you know what? No, mid Kaisa's actually just really good. He has been practicing it so much recently.
And this is a straight-up poke composition, especially now with the Kaisa being added, with a lot of dive as well, right? Faker and Owner both can dive in deep on the Nime backline, but into a hard engage composition. There we go. There we go. Redemption.
Big Kaisa fan. Yeah.
And Faker, of course, has been terrorizing the ladder, has been very successful on this Kaisa mid. The Evolve on W is incredibly obnoxious to play against. But Kwangdong, I do think, have a composition that can actually win, right? With the amount of hard engage you have between the Ornn and the Leona, there is a possibility here for them to just play a nice front to back. And if they can find some key members, there's not that much peel available. There's only a Lee Kick, you know, there's Chompers, and that's basically it, barring the Nautilus. Really exciting third drafts here on either side.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and we get the Kaisa in the hands of Faker. It's not what you would expect at the beginning of the season, but in the last week or so, this has been the thing for him. And we'll see how it works here as we jump onto the Rift for game number 3. Kwangdong Freaks up against T1. There's not a lot of peel, but Kaisa, of course, as we have seen with Def playing it a lot recently, and the resurgence of this pick, you have the ability to, you know, get a shield, to reposition, and that is going to be very worthwhile here up against what Kwangdong Freaks have. I think that Fate might end up being the biggest threat, as regardless of dash, you can kind of just hop over the wall and get that poke damage in. We'll see how it goes, though. Has to get through the lane first.
Oh, yeah, because T1's composition has an incredible amount of power, right? Between the Shock Blasts, between Faker's Kaisa, and if they can get to a point where they've hit their 2 item spikes, Nashor's is done, and Faker is sitting on his Manamune as well, right? That's when, especially if Zeus is also hitting this 2 spike, your composition becomes disgusting to deal with. The amount of reliable poke that you're going to be able to throw down is incredible, but this is a composition of 4 squishy members and a Nautilus, and it's also Glacial Orc with Nautilus, you know, and Nautilus isn't really known for being the tankiest of supports.
Yeah.
Not like Alistar or Leona, where he can reliably act like frontline. He's a great initiator, but if the hook doesn't land, which, to be honest, it's Carrier, so I don't think it's that likely, but key thing is that there are definitely windows for Kwangdong where if they just throw out all their hard engage and someone on T1 gets hit, they 100% die, and actually playing out the front to back, I think is going to be quite hard here. So Fate, crucially, don't want to give that... Oh, 5th plasma stack. Yeah, I think you might have wanted to let that minion go, but she's him. Alan with the red buff.
Yeah, he's got a great angle. Big poke onto Fate, but he's got that clone in the front. The flash comes in. One more auto could do it. Owner is here, though, as the Ignite goes down. Doing a nice big chunk into LM. So now Owner might get some position here in the jungle. Could even look for some hunting, but no, he'll just go back in, as this is Faker's 71st unique pick in the LCK.
Incredible.
He had 70. We said that was incredible, but the number just keeps going up.
Incredible, like 71 unique champions. That's just, it boggles the mind, even with how long and illustrious his career is. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. 71 champions is not quite half the roster, but you get pretty close.
Very close.
Yeah, you get very close, and that's just in a lane, you know? It's not like we've seen some lane swapping shenanigans. He's been mid lane his entire career.
He's also played Taric in his career. That is one of the 71. Not to bring up bad memories.
Is that a good memory, fellas? Like, what are you getting at here?
It's just a memory. We get the big lockdown, though, onto Guma. The flash away, and Hoyt is going to go down. First blood goes over to Guma, as they will turn it here onto Teddy as well. He will survive, and Elim is looking for the revenge. He will be able to... No! The knock away with the pull, and Guma will survive! Carrier keeps him alive, and now red buff is onto the Jinx.
And that was an incredible risky gank from Elm. He's level 2. He knew his topside was going to get invaded by Owner, so he tries to make a bot side play, but his bot lane is already caught up in the fight before they have the chance, and oh, that is disaster. That is disaster, Valdez. Guma getting out there, takes a sip of his water. He's not impressed at all. The normal life in the day of drinks.
Just hanging out.
As we are really trying to get out earlier, and Kwangdong. Yeah, I don't think that was necessary. I think you can wait a little bit longer. I don't think they were expecting the random cheese gank. Oh, Ellen.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Hoyt is here, too. It is a 3-on-3. Carry still sticking around, but the damage is coming in. Owner jumps onto him. They're trying to burst down Element. He does go down 1 for 1, but a lot of low health bars here on the side of Fate. As Hoyt will go low, and Faker will be gifted another kill. Picks it up. As Owner nearly able to take out Fate. The chains miss, the distortion misses, and Teddy is here late. As Faker nearly looking for the snipe there onto Fate, but yet another big trade in favor of T1.
I think that 15-0 is looking pretty good, Valdez.
Fate, he's gonna... Wait! He gets it down, but still, he will be taken out, and that gives a free lane here for Faker. The trade of flashes. Not the cleanest kills, but he gets the job done.
Alam is still level 3. Yeah, that's good luck with that one, Despers.
Yeah.
We don't stop. We just keep going. We're not done yet. Okay, we are. Never mind. He's still level 3. And you know, Dragon really hurts when you're this on the level. Then, honestly, I would love to go into a deep dive, but it was hard to keep track of. They really felt like, as we can see here, they know that the top side is going to get invaded, right? Because Alan was so low from the jungle or for the mid lane gank, so instead he tries to cheese gank bot. And that's fine if Teddy and Hoyt are a little bit slower on the plane.
Yeah.
Because they try to force summoners, but they actually hard commit. No, I don't want to. I don't want to watch this. As this is perfectly played by Karyan Guma. And then from that point onwards, Hoyt is still level 2 here. Right, like, this just never works out. Unfortunately, with the level advantages, Owner full health, Lee Sin, this is a dream scenario for him.
Yeah.
As at least Flash is forced on top side, so that's, you know,
something.
like the entire foundation of your house is collapsing, but you got a nice drink, so that's cool at least, I guess.
So
we got like, what, 3 replays? And we get a replay of what happened in the picture-in-picture as well, and like within the first 6 minutes? Come on, Valdez.
This bottom lane is pretty boomed as we continue in this game. 1,100 gold in the lead is Guma. And yeah, we have roams that can come down here. Of course, Nautilus can easily enable the Faker Kaisa as well.
Was that an actual flash? It looked and sounded like one.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
Owner is totally fine.
This game is a lot, Valdez.
I mean, we had game 1 and we had game 2, and now we have this. Teddy is going to survive for now. Guma going very deep for that one. Gets excited. Karya stays alive. And not even the wind becomes lightning can get Karya on the backside. So annoying for Kwangdong Freaks. They were so close, they even got a win in game 2, and now this happens. And T1 are just like, okay, well, I guess maybe we should start trying now. Not to take anything away from what Kwangdong Freaks have achieved in this series, but, you know, I think this early game has really, they flipped the table.
We have gone from two games that, barring some amazing, you know, escape sequences from T1 make complete sense to this.
Yeah.
This game doesn't make a lot of sense. The level 2 cheese gank from Alan on Faker, who of course has no escapes, into a Fate that is still level 1. And then from then onwards it all gets increasingly crazy and crazier and crazier, and now Guma is just monster fed. And is probably going to single-handedly carry the game with the lead that he's been given here, because honestly, I know I talked about the hard engage. Yeah, I mean that was never. It's carrier, right? He had flash. He wouldn't die, surely. And I talked about the hard engage. You know, there's lots of ways to get on Jinx. But if I see a 3K gold lead at 9 minutes, I'm less inclined to believe Veldas. And that's me. I'm very optimistic.
Yeah, you're a believer. As Keria, I think that was just Hex Flash again. As now into the pit, looking for that eye hit. T1 did pick it up, but just gonna have to wait for Owner to try to make this. Looks like he might just give it away. Being chased down, he knows he's got wins elsewhere on the map, doesn't want to just go on a risky play. And that's another play into the hands now of Gumayusi.
It's not great. When we say that Aphelios gets countered by Jinx, this is not quite what we mean. This is not the. As if you just tune
Still
in.
counts.
It still counts. It does still count, but this is not the normal way that things go. But Guma is about to get a 2K gold lead here.
Yeah. And maybe even some more kills. Rocket comes in, the Gale Force as well. Hoyt looking to turn it around, and he might just be able to. Well, I mean, he got the kill out to Keria, I guess. As Guma gets 2 more, and the knockback onto LM gets kicked away, and Guma is the president. Everybody just trying to keep him safe. Can even Fate take him down? The leash is not enough, and the last auto will get him. But it just doesn't matter, guys. He already ate his fill, and got even more on the back of that.
He's 5-1! We're 10 minutes in, Veldas!
He used his Gale Force in the last fight, which, by the way, he had picked up and bought already before that fight.
This game is insane.
At 9 minutes.
Well, if you completely skip the early game and you just go straight to your 2-item power spike, I do think that the Tier 1 comp is very good. I haven't really given this thought a lot of consideration during Champ Select. Because generally you have to actually...
play the game?
Play the game, yeah. To get there.
Well, they're only 5,500 gold ahead.
Whoa, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. I won't...
Hold your horses now, Chronicler.
Okay.
A lot of damage. Faker gets chained under the turret. Thankfully, he has his backup AD carry to to come in and keep him safe. The rocket here is not going to land and not delay his back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, Val. Looks like Faker is going to go with an earlier Lost Chapter buy. We've seen several variations of the build. I'm just going to cling on to a semblance of what I know to be true in this observable universe. Because there's not a lot that is given to me by this game. It's a 6 gold lead at 24 minutes. T1 saying, no, this you cannot tarnish the 15-0. We're going to break our own record.
They have plot armor right now, is what it feels like.
Oh yeah, this is where you think that you have killed the boss, and then, you know, the Latin music starts playing. Yeah. And this is like, now we're actually gaming. Anyway, as I was saying, Kai'Sa builds.
Guma in a bit of trouble here. He is just going to skirt out of that one, I guess. As Zeus in a little bit of trouble, trying to jump away, but the knockup comes in. He knocks away LM now, as the gate not quite going to help him get away. Zeus, it looks like he's still hunting for Keen, but you got to be careful, buddy. Keen going to get that one down as Owner. Gets the Q there onto Fate. So they're just bullying them here in the mid lane, it feels like.
Faker's just pushing tier 2, 12 minutes. As I was saying, Kai'Sa mid build. Because obviously you want to get a number of your evolves as soon as possible. Nashor's, or rather Manamune into Nashor's has been the most common build. Because it allows you to, especially if you get a Dirk as well, hit all your evolves very early on. But you can also alternatively choose to go straight, which just looks like what Faker is doing here. Go earlier into either your Crown, if that's what you do want to go. I do think in the Guangdong, that's a pretty good shout, as long as you can dodge Fate, keep track of him. Ludens, also of course another option if you want to go for the pure damage. And he's looking to go, I think, for an earlier Lost Chapter, so that's nice. Why am I talking about this? I do not know. I
mean, There's only so much we can say about the way that the early game went, right? I think we've kind of covered it. Everybody, you know.
T1's mad, Brandon.
We all took that class. Everybody passed. We all know what happened.
Hey, when the ornaments come through, T1 will only be actually like 4K gold ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
Good point.
That'll show him.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Kwangdong. I thought, you know, after game 2, you know, in game 1 we were like, oh, they got close, but no. And then we were like, okay, it's probably just going to be 2-0. But then they actually made it happen in game 2. They outplayed them, they counterpicked them, they played a better game, and they won. We were like, beginning to believe, and then it's like the piano in those like gag movies. The piano falls on the head of the protagonist, and then he steps up like an accordion, you know? Yeah. It's like, oh, that's what happens now. It's like, oh, no, never mind. T1 just gonna, yep, they're just gonna win.
Yep. If they lose this, it's one of the most memorable games.
True.
To ever have been League of Legends. Should not happen in any circumstance. Just want to reiterate that.
The most legends to have been leaked in a game before.
If T1 lose their 15-0 record-breaking historic streak off of this game, it's third Cloud Soul in a row as well.
Yeah, you just know the CEO of Base, Joe Mars, is at home popping the champagne already.
Oh,
but the game isn't over. We'll have to, you know, we have to wait until the Nexus explodes, but it's very comfortable. It's very comfortable. Let's see how it goes. Kwangdong Freaks, they are trying. It feels like they're trying to take that Rift Heralds. There are objective bounties in this game, so keep that in mind.
Just need one good team fight. That's all you need. This is where, if you're in solo queue, like, you know, you're typing, guys, we're scaling, it's fine. We have Aphelios, we have Ornn. We can do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's so oppressive, too, because when you're this far ahead, the fact that you have basically no front line, as this is kind of funny as well. The fact that you basically have no front line for T1, it's not really going to matter too much because you're so far ahead. Zeus is, he's going in here, 1v2. Got a little bit too far up the lane, and there is a pick onto the side of Kwangdong Freaks.
Bingo to Fate, unfortunately. Do you think that if you are funneling someone, he should be the person in question? Power spikes? Okay, so power spikes. Faker is getting close, you know, still sitting. I don't think he's back in a little while yet. Expecting to see the dirt come out as well as the continuation of his lost chapter item. And Zeus getting closer, as well as the Coldfield's Warhammer already. As maybe now the mid lane turret will also fall. I don't know if they need it or if they want to keep Shirley rather for a different occasion. They have the liberty to do so as teleport comes in, and Kwangdong, they're not giving up, Eldis. They're still in this game, and they have a great front-to-back teamfight comp.
Yeah.
That's something.
They're getting ready to throw down. They're getting ready to fight here now.
Objective Bounty Gaming? Are they going to do it?
I mean, if you just
go.
Take it and then get out.
No vision. They probably could, honestly.
Yeah.
They could. 100%.
With what we see, and with Guma back at base, they could have just taken that down and gotten an objective bounty. Not going to happen, though. And most likely what happens is T1 just going to drop Herald and then move over and take it for their own.
They could just sell his longsword. There was a longsword there, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
There was.
Okay, I'm just double checking. This game has been a bit wacky.
Over the wall goes Carrier. He just wants to party, and he will get his party. In goes Faker, and he's just going to get blown up 100-0. We do get into the back line here, does Owner. Going to force Fate away. This just feels like the wallets are extremely heavy. Huge kick comes in as well. As down will go Hoyt eventually. Zeus does take him out here. And Fate is going to get cleaned up by Owner too. Just picking them off like flies at this point. Trying to give the kill over to Guma, I think. And then Owner's like, nope, just going to get the execution. just going to take him down. That is a clean ace to T1.
As expected, all according to plan. Just get this far ahead in the front-to-back teamfight composition. Can actually front-to-back. Yeah. Carrier goes in, and honestly, I applaud this call. At this point, any fight is a good fight, right? It doesn't matter. Faker going in way too deep into 4 people doesn't matter. Because everyone on that team is so fed. While all of this is happening, Guma is still full health, right? So like, the damage looks nice. Kwangdong trade a kill. And then, man, Owner really feeling bad about his POG score. You know, it's like, guys, how many plays do I need to make?
Yeah. I just have to be 100% hit rate on my Q ability, I guess.
And my kicks need to hit at least 2 people every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Guma's going to get it anyway. Could definitely happen. Oh, there's another Q.
Maybe. There's still a carrier angle as well.
Yeah, definitely.
As per usual.
There always seems to be that angle. You can see the goal difference here. It's actually biggest in the AD carry, as you would imagine, but take a look at the jungle. 3,200 ahead for Owner over LM. Started at the level 2, right? You remember LM went mid. The gank didn't work out. He wasn't able to kill Faker. And then he went bot because he knew he was going to be invaded.
Still level 2.
And then he's still level 2 and he gave over his life. And that's why he's so far behind. And from there, the game has basically been over. But how much farther can we take this one? In goes Hoyt, he's dead, but so is Faker. Faker has been tanking a lot of the damage. I feel like he's certainly enjoying himself in this game, you would have to imagine.
And overall, Owner 1 assist away from completely mirroring Guma's kill score, which is nice. That's neat. You know, that's a cool little thing. First ornament has come through, so the gold lead is now only, I want to say 8k. You know,
yeah, counts.
Does it count, Valdez?
It exists.
Does the math check out? I don't know.
The math says that it does. But you can see here, once again, carry is basically just like, yeah, see enemy champion, engage on enemy champion.
Unfortunately, with the depth charge, Keen also condemning Hoyt to an unfortunate fate. And you see some remnants here of what this comp could have done, right? With a lot of heavy engage, a lot of tankiness, Fate looking in from the flanks, Teddy hitting with ultimates, but because of the ludicrous state of this game, we never ever, or we should never ever see any of those fights actually come to fruition, right? Because as you pointed out already, yeah, you might have 4 squishies and a Nautilus, but that doesn't actually mean anything when...
Yeah, it just doesn't
this
matter
far ahead.
anymore.
No, it doesn't at all. You can just force any fight, and as long as any of your damage dealers are alive, you're fine. Carrier is literally the only one that can't like 1v5 a fight with somehow.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Everyone else, if they stay alive, easy peasy.
Could definitely get that going. And T1 are going to get this Baron going. They say, well, we're super far ahead, 22 minutes in.
Okay, Alan. This is your moment.
You gotta get in there and steal, probably.
Get that bounty.
Can't see them turning this one, but Keen is going to attempt it. He knocks up Guma in the back, and Guma immediately goes down. Cleanse and Flash are both used. And this is the true test for T1. Can you win 4v5 from here? Big Poke comes in, very nicely blocked by Hoyt, as Zeus is still looking for more. More Prey Seekers are coming in, but at the same time, you know, T1, they only lose 1 person. And not too much else. But at least Kwangdong are able to buy themselves some time.
They're holding on desperately. But plot armor might be a little bit too much on this one, Valdez. Plot armor or the gold lead that we have talked about to death, because there's honestly not that much to talk about. This is as good as a fight as you're going to get. I actually love this from Kwangdong, and again, it shows the power of these team comps, and if the early game would have gone any other way, this is probably a game-winning fight for Kwangdong. This gets you Baron, right? You get the Fed Jinx, and then you can turn it into something, but they're so far behind that even fights like this, you need 4 more of those. And maybe then you'll get there. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
T1 right now, they can kind of just get in onto this Cloud Soul. Pretty free for them. If they want to take it safe from here on out, because now you have Guma with no cleanse, no flash. So you do have to be a little bit careful. There still is an immense amount of CC on the side of Kwangdong Freaks. So, yeah, just take the safe objective. You know you're not going to be challenged on this one. Objective bounty. Be given over to Fate. Get some extra gold up there on the top side. But yeah, Cloud Soul is taken down here by T1. And they say, well, maybe a little bit early to go for the Baron try, but we're still extremely far ahead.
And T1 Siege, obviously, absolutely incredible, but they do need the decent vision control, right? Because as much as we joked about this game, and as bleak as it looks, as desperate as the Kwangdong Freaks are clinging onto it, you do still need to respect the comp that they have to a certain extent. And although they are generally a full item behind, there are some, like Fate, that are on relative parity, right? Keen also not looking too bad, all things considered, as here we go.
Guma, no cleanse, no flash, but he does have the Gale Force. But take a look at that. The Nautilus goes down. In goes Hoyt, trying to create a bit more. Huge rocket into the back line. Hoyt is going to have to back away. Faker goes in, looking for more. Immediate knock-up as the Moonlight Vigil cannot land. Faker will survive. And man, Kwangdong, I mean, gotta give them credit. They are staying in this game, and T1 are like, yeah, we'll just collect the win in this fight, right? No. We'll just take the Baron. No.
There's no way, right?
Surely not.
Right?
I'm not.
Kwangdong are very, very clearly not deciding to lose this game. And I don't think it should work, but do see. The exact issue that we talked about is that it's not actually a front line. You are exclusively squishy characters, and if they turn on you, if you don't play it out cleanly, you immediately die.
Yeah.
Faker forced a flash. If he doesn't get hit by the Moonlight Vigil and might die again. And the reality of the situation is, T1, you are still monstrously far ahead, but you do need to actually utilize your poke. You cannot try to fight 5v5 without it. But then the problem becomes, like, how are you going to do that without Kwangdong engaging on you? Because Kwangdong just every single time just ring the horn and called off the sunlight as Owner.
They spot him there in the brush. And now Owner might just go down. Huge amounts of damage, though, from Faker, as Guma's trying to snipe him, too. Faker not quite able to get it. Owner nearly catches him on the backside. Meanwhile, Zeus is just chipping away at that bottom lane. Kwangdong, they do get a pick off here, but the damage is beginning to be shelled out by Faker, as he's just gonna try to go for Teddy. He gets Teddy, and he will go down himself.
Look at bots.
Going really deep into this one is Guma, and the bot lane, as you mentioned, is being torn to shreds. Zeus gonna already take down the inhibitor, and now all of that engage has been used by the Kwangdong Freaks, and Guma gets a free ride.
And finally, T1 actually able to leverage. They said, okay, we had some fun, but if we don't want to 5v5, what do? Easiest thing in the world. You split push. And when you're this far ahead,
And poke.
and poke. Split push and poke. And that's what they do. After, again, multiple moments that are not the greatest. Wondering whether that was initially a ward clear from Owner.
Yeah.
I assume so.
Must have been.
Turned into a nice pick, but crucially here is the backs don't actually come through. As, yeah, unfortunately for Owner.
Okay, we have a Baron here, as Fate is gonna try to go for it. The damage a bit too high now. Nobody is grouped up on the side of Kwangdong, so T1 finally get that Baron. I mean, man, props to Kwangdong for making this an actual game, because I thought this was over at 20. Like, I thought we were going to be killing the Nexus at 23
What
minutes.
if they didn't flip the early game as much as they did? Like, just imagine. I mean, I'm going to tell you what happened. T1 would play way more respectful, and this would not have been as close, quote unquote, as it has been here.
Yeah.
I don't think so, at least. As we've seen, as all of us have witnessed in solo queue, too big a lead can do weird things to a team.
Yeah.
But T1 obviously is 14-0 for a reason. They can just as easily pull it back together if they are in a bit of a nosedive. And while the gold graph in this one is going to look kind of funny, fact remains that the gold lead, even in those moments, didn't really dip below, like, what, 7K? Which is pretty good.
Maybe even not even that low.
I think it's 7, maybe, at the worst part of it.
Perhaps.
But hey, ornaments are there.
Well,
Yeah.
Faker is beginning to exist now. You know, you talked about you talked about spikes. He's got nearly an extra item on top of it.
It's just a different skin of Corky. He's back.
Oh no. Yeah, they don't have too much wave clear either. Teddy is going to get hit by 1W and has to back away to try to stop the onslaught. But I think we're just gonna make history tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's the only thing we're gonna be doing here. As T1, they'll take it slow, but the knockup will come in onto that back line. Keen is trying his hardest to keep this base alive, and Zeus is going to get extremely low, but nobody can touch Faker. Owner is still alive in the backside of this fight as well. And that's gonna do it. T1 will take down the Nexus and make history tonight with their 15th win in a row at the LCK.
15!